Well, it's almost the end of August. Who can believe that? We say this every year. Oh my God, where did this year go to? And generally in the last few years especially, we've been saying things like, wow, what a year, what a shit show. People have been having a hectic time. People are leaving the country in droves. People are getting sick. People are dying. Now, you know what? That happens every year. It happens every year. But it does seem to be intensifying somehow, I think. But that might just be my perception because I'm having a year that's got a lot of change in it, and change is always challenging. One thing, though, that I'm noticing more and more and more is that there's something that none of us are actually talking about, and that is anxiety. You know, we talk about stress and burnout, and, you know, stress is a term that's bandied around a lot, and we talk about self-care and the importance of, I don't know, eating clean and all the rest. But very few of us are coming out and going, I'm anxious. I think I have anxiety. And we tend to associate anxiety, well, I certainly always did, with the sort of pathological kind of form. You've got to have panic attacks or, insomnia or chronic symptoms or, stomach ulcers or whatever the case may be. But anxiety is so much more ubiquitous than that, and it's so much more widespread. And yet, somehow, we can say we're tired, we can say we're stressed, but we can't say we're anxious. It's almost as if just admitting to anxiety is sort of like opening the door to more overwhelm. So I didn't ever think of myself as being an anxious person, and I was in therapy because of something that had been triggered by something completely unrelated. I thought it was an emotional thing, blah, blah, long story. And I had been in therapy for quite a while, and one day my therapist said, "You're anxious." I was like, anxious? Anxiety? I don't have anxiety. I'm just ambitious. I'm just driven. I like things done well. I'm half Italian, man. We get impatient. We tend to lose our shit. We can be quite emotional and demonstrative. And she said, well, actually, I think it's anxiety. And that got me working with anxiety and thinking about anxiety. And then I started recognizing how it shows up in my life. And that's when I started realizing how under the radar it actually is. Because that extra glass of wine that you have to have at night, the sleeping pill that you have to take at night, the TV that you can't watch without eating the chocolate or the chips, the comfort eating when you get home, when you walk in the door thinking, oh my God, I need something to eat, and it's usually something like bread or snack food or something like that. The not being able to stick to your exercise plan, the procrastinating, the binge watching series on TV, those can all be signs of anxiety. Now, there's nothing wrong with any of those things, right, in their place. But they can be signs of anxiety. And if you don't think you have anxiety, I'm almost guaranteed that you live with someone or know someone or have a close interaction with someone who actually is anxious. And in actual fact, what I've noticed in my practice is, 10 or 15 years ago, when people used to tell me that they're taking an antidepressant, and I asked them what kind of symptoms did they have when that was prescribed, they would usually talk about sad or unmotivated or not being able to get out of bed or just like losing their enthusiasm for life. Now they talk about irritated, highly strung. They don't necessarily say anxious, but anxious is really what it coming out as. So it really is a universal problem. And here's the thing, you're never going to get rid of anxiety. It's an evolutionary mechanism to keep us alive, to stop us from doing really stupid things. Now, we do stupid things despite anxiety, and sometimes we do it because of anxiety. But like really stupid things like jumping off a cliff, right? Or jumping into a fire, or jumping off a building, all right? The anxiety is what actually keeps us safe. It's an evolutionary mechanism to keep us alive. It's there, it's built in to protect the species, so you cannot get rid of it. It's like you can't get rid of a negative belief. All of that stuff that we've been taught in the personal development or in the psychology movement, it's a lot of bollocks. You can't get rid of it. You can only recognize how it shows up, become aware of it, learn how to feel it fully, embrace it, and make it an ally rather than have it as an enemy. And so that's what I am hoping to help people achieve by this workshop that I'm hosting on the 14th of September. So if you read the email below, you don't have to read the whole mail, just scroll down to the bottom. All the details are there in a little information block. So if you've got anxiety, if you think you might have, but you're not sure, if you know someone who is suffering from anxiety, if you're just feeling overwhelmed because of the general three-ring shit show that the world seems to be at the moment, then possibly this is for you.